In August 2013, someone entered Yahoo's digital world and escaped with information connected to every account the company had. Names, email addresses, birth dates, telephone numbers, passwords protected by outdated hashing, and in some cases, the questions people used to recover their accounts. But Yahoo did not announce the breach in 2013. The public would wait more than 3 years to learn that something had happened. And even then, the first number Yahoo revealed was wrong. 1 billion accounts, then investigators looked again. The real number was 3 billion. But the most disturbing discovery was still ahead. This was not Yahoo's only massive breach. Before social media feeds controlled attention, before smartphones placed the internet inside every pocket, Yahoo was one of the web's most recognizable gateways. Founded in 1994, it grew from a directory created by 2 Stanford students into a vast collection of services: search, news, finance, sports, messaging, and email. Former Yahoo chief executive Marissa Mayer later told the United States Senate that Yahoo had become one of only 3 internet companies with more than 1 billion monthly users. For millions of people, a Yahoo address was their first permanent identity online. It received school applications, job offers, family photographs, private conversations, password reset links from other websites. The address was more than a mailbox. It was a master key connecting one part of a person's digital life to another. And Yahoo held the records behind those identities inside enormous databases. The public trusted that those databases were protected, but sometime in August 2013, that trust was silently broken. No dramatic explosion marked the breach. No office lost power. No warning appeared on the screens of 3 billion account holders. Yahoo later stated that an unauthorized third party stole account data in August 2013. The company said it could not identify the intrusion connected with that theft. That distinction matters. The company eventually confirmed what was taken, but publicly available evidence has never produced a conclusive identification of who carried out the 2013 attack. According to Yahoo, the compromised information may have included names, email addresses, telephone numbers, dates of birth, passwords hashed with Message Digest 5, and in some cases, encrypted or unencrypted security questions and answers. Yahoo said clear text passwords, payment card information, and bank account details were not stored in the affected system. That could sound reassuring. But the absence of bank details did not make the stolen information harmless. A date of birth can help confirm an identity. A recovery email can reveal another account. A telephone number can connect an online identity to a real person. A security question may expose information reused elsewhere, and a password hash, although not the password itself, may be attacked offline, especially when the underlying password is weak or reused. Yahoo disclosed that the 2013 passwords had been protected using Message Digest 5 and that the company had begun moving toward a stronger hashing method called Bcrypt during the summer of 2013. The first major clue was therefore not only the size of the database, it was the age of the security protecting parts of it. 3 billion accounts did not necessarily represent 3 billion separate people. Some users maintained several accounts. Some accounts were inactive. Some may have been created for temporary use. Others belonged to businesses or automated services. But Yahoo's later conclusion was still extraordinary. Every Yahoo account existing at the time of the August 2013 theft was affected. The number described the entire account population, not merely a selected group of victims. Yet in 2013, the public knew nothing about it. And while the first breach remained hidden, Yahoo's network was targeted again. In late 2014, another intrusion struck Yahoo. This time, the story would eventually lead investigators toward named suspects, Russian intelligence officers, and a criminal conspiracy operating across national borders. Yahoo publicly disclosed the second incident on September 20, 2016. The company confirmed that a copy of account information had been stolen from its network and estimated that at least 500 million accounts were affected. 500 million was already an almost unimaginable figure, but it was not the same breach as the one from 2013. The attacks occurred at different times. Yahoo later described the August 2013 theft as likely separate from the incident disclosed in September 2016. That meant investigators were no longer examining one catastrophic failure, they were examining at least two, and the second intrusion contained something even more alarming than a stolen database. The attackers had discovered a way to enter selected accounts without knowing the victim's passwords. When a person signs into an email account, the website may create a small authentication file known as a cookie. The cookie helps the service recognize the user so that the person does not need to enter a password on every page. But according to investigators, the attackers obtained information that allowed them to manufacture or mint fraudulent Yahoo authentication cookies. A forged cookie could convince Yahoo systems that the attacker had already signed in. The password was no longer necessary. Yahoo later announced that outside forensic experts had identified accounts where forged cookies were taken or used during 2015 or 2016. The company invalidated the cookies and notified affected users. The discovery transformed the breach. This was not only about copying an old list of account records. Someone had learned how to impersonate legitimate users inside Yahoo's own authentication system. And the people behind the 2014 attack were not selecting accounts randomly. According to United States investigators, some targets were chosen for intelligence value. The United States Department of Justice investigation focused on the separate 2014 breach. On March 15, 2017, federal authorities announced a 47-count indictment against 4 men: Dmitry Dokuchayev, Igor Sushchin, Alexei Belan, and Karim Baratov. Dokuchayev and Sushchin were identified as officers of Russia's Federal Security Service, known as the Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation. Belan was described as a criminal hacker. Baratov was a Canadian national whom investigators said was hired to compromise targeted webmail accounts outside Yahoo. An indictment contains allegations, not automatic proof of guilt, but the document offered investigators most detailed public reconstruction of the 2014 operation. According to the Justice Department, Belan gained unauthorized access to Yahoo's network and stole at least part of the company's user database. That database contained subscriber names, recovery accounts, telephone numbers, and information that could be used to create authentication cookies. The attackers also obtained access to Yahoo's account management tool, an internal system used to make and record changes to user accounts. The stolen material did not merely describe users. It gave the attackers tools for finding particular users and entering selected accounts. The Justice Department alleged that Belan stole the Yahoo database during November and December 2014. Investigators said he and the intelligence officers used the stolen database and the account management tool to locate accounts of interest. They then used forged authentication cookies to access at least 6,500 Yahoo accounts without authorization. According to federal prosecutors, the wider operation sought access to accounts belonging to Russian journalists, United States and Russian government officials, and employees of financial, transportation, and other private companies. The alleged purpose was mixed, part intelligence operation, part criminal enterprise. The Justice Department said one defendant searched communications for credit card and gift card information, redirected some Yahoo search traffic to earn commissions, and enabled the theft of contacts from at least 30 million accounts for use in a spam campaign. The investigation now turned inward. What did Yahoo know? When did it know it? And who was told? Mayer testified that Yahoo learned of a state-sponsored attack in late 2014, reported it to law enforcement, and notified the users it understood at that time to have been directly affected. But the Securities and Exchange Commission later examined a different question: whether Yahoo had properly investigated and disclosed the breach to investors. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, Yahoo's information security team learned within days of the December 2014 intrusion that Russian hackers had stolen what employees internally called the company's crown jewels. The agency identified those crown jewels as usernames, email addresses, telephone numbers, dates of birth, encrypted passwords, and security questions and answers connected to hundreds of millions of accounts. The agency stated that the matter was reported to members of senior management and Yahoo's legal department, but that Yahoo failed to investigate adequately and failed to consider properly whether the breach should be disclosed to investors. In April 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission announced that Altaba, the remaining company formerly known as Yahoo, had agreed to pay a $35 million penalty. The agency charged the company with misleading investors by failing to disclose one of the world's largest data breaches. The penalty carried a warning for every publicly traded company. A cyber attack is not only an information technology problem, it can become a legal, financial, and investor disclosure crisis. On December 14, 2016, Yahoo publicly disclosed the August 2013 breach. At first, the company said more than 1 billion accounts had been affected, but Yahoo had approximately 3 billion accounts in existence during 2013. After Verizon completed its acquisition of Yahoo's operating business in June 2017, the integration process produced additional intelligence. On October 3, 2017, Yahoo, then part of Verizon's Oath subsidiary, announced that the August 2013 theft had affected all Yahoo accounts existing at the time, not 1 billion, 3 billion. The original estimate had not merely been adjusted, it had tripled. Verizon did not abandon its plan to acquire Yahoo, but the breaches changed the price. In February 2017, Verizon and Yahoo amended the agreement. Verizon reduced the purchase price by $350 million, bringing the deal to approximately $4.48 billion. The companies also negotiated arrangements for sharing certain breach-related liabilities. Yahoo had spent decades building trust. Now users were learning that attackers had reached its networks repeatedly and that years had passed before the full scale became public. The Yahoo breach was not primarily a story about stolen credit card numbers. It was a story about identity. Names, birth dates, and telephone numbers can strengthen a phishing message. A recovery email can expose another account. An old password can reveal a pattern. A security answer may be reused across services. A contact list reveals relationships, an inbox reveals context, and context can make deception convincing. Cyber criminals do not always need every piece of information. They may combine fragments from several breaches, a date of birth from one database, a telephone number from another, an old password from a third. The result may be enough to impersonate someone, pressure a victim, or target a more valuable account. The breaches generated extensive litigation. A United States class action settlement created a $117.5 million fund for eligible users in the United States and Israel. No settlement could restore complete privacy. Once information has been copied, the original owner cannot know how many versions exist or where every copy has traveled. A stolen physical object may be recovered. Stolen data can be recovered and still remain stolen. The Yahoo case changed how the public understood scale. Before the announcement, a breach affecting millions of users sounded enormous. Yahoo forced the world to think in billions. It demonstrated that a company's oldest systems can hold information belonging to people who no longer remember creating an account. It showed that attackers may combine espionage with ordinary criminal profit. And it showed that cybersecurity failures can reshape acquisition agreements, investor disclosures, executive testimony, and federal enforcement. According to official records, attackers stole information associated with all 3 billion Yahoo accounts existing in August 2013. Yahoo did not publicly disclose the incident until December 2016. The company initially estimated that more than 1 billion accounts were affected. In October 2017, following additional investigation during Verizon's integration of Yahoo, that estimate expanded to every account. The public identity of the 2013 attacker remains unconfirmed. A separate 2014 attack was linked by United States prosecutors to 2 Russian Federal Security Service officers and 2 criminal hackers. One defendant pleaded guilty and received a 5-year sentence. The corporate response produced a reduced acquisition price, regulatory punishment, congressional scrutiny, and civil litigation. The mystery is therefore not whether the breach happened. It happened. The mystery is how a theft involving the entire account population of one of the world's most famous internet companies could remain hidden from the public for years, and how much of the stolen information may still exist today. Somewhere, an abandoned Yahoo account may still contain a person's first job application, a photograph sent by someone who is no longer alive, a forgotten password reset link, a conversation written before anyone understood how permanent digital information could become. The breach affected accounts, but behind every account was a human story, and that is what the number 3 billion can never fully explain. What do you believe really happened? Who do you believe was responsible for the unresolved 2013 breach? Do you think Yahoo responded appropriately, or did the delay place users at greater risk? Share your theory respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoy true crime documentaries, cold cases, historical mysteries, and investigative stories, subscribe to Mysterious Crime. Like this video, share it with someone who loves documentaries, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next investigation. Every mystery has a story, and every victim deserves to be remembered with truth and respect.